So the biggest news about artificial intelligence right now, it isn't really coming from, a fancy lab in Silicon Valley. It's actually landing hard in places dealing with messy real-world stuff. UPS, the logistics giant, and the GSA, the U.S. government's main buyer.
Exactly. That's what we're calling AI's hard landing. And what's really interesting, I think, is that the tech isn't being gently sort of eased in. No, it's being forced into action by things completely outside of tech, like operational shock, forcing AI to be a kind of firefighter.
And then political directives making AI vendors into, mandated contractors.
Okay, firefighters versus contractors. Let's start with the fire brigade then. The operational shock at UPS. The trigger here was a sudden, pretty huge policy change, right? Suspending the old de minimis rule. That rule had been around for decades, let stuff under $800 come in duty-free. Millions of packages, basically no paperwork. But then, boom, July 2025, an executive order lands. And the key thing, it totally bypassed the planned timeline. Kicked in after just 30 days, August 29th. Yeah, imagine that. Suddenly, every single tiny package needs the same kind of customs paperwork as like a massive container ship. That's the data nightmare they walked into. And this rush, this policy speed up, it was apparently driven by wanting to tighten border enforcement, fighting fentanyl imports and things like that. So packages that used to just sail through suddenly needed full declarations. We're talking 10-digit HTS US codes, verification for every item. It just choked the system.
And here's where it gets really wild.
Yeah.
UPS officially reported a tenfold surge in daily customs entries needing that formal process. I mean, tenfold. That sounds like it would just paralyze their international shipping lanes.
Pretty much. And the fix wasn't, build a bigger warehouse overnight. It had to be tech. Rapid reactive tech deployment just to handle the sheer volume of data.
Just to survive.
Exactly. It was a necessity. UPS confirmed they're relying on artificial intelligence and specifically using agentic AI in their customs brokerage side.
Hold on. Why agentic AI specifically? Wouldn't, standard machine learning for classifying packages have helped?
Well, classifying alone wouldn't cut it. Agentic AI implies more autonomy, right? The system can actually do complex tasks. So not just classify, but manage the whole customs brokerage process, simplify the formal entry stuff, handle verification even with messy manifests. It wasn't a long-term plan. It was digital survival, basically. AI optimized purely to stop the immediate collapse.
Wow. Okay, so that's AI reacting, being the firefighter.
Yeah.
Now let's flip to the other side, the government actively imposing rules. The GSA angle. They set themselves up as the main federal hub, USAI.gov, and added the big AI models, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, to their buying lists. But they did it with these weirdly low prices, right? Like $1 contracts or even $0.47 sometimes.
Exactly. And that symbolic price tag, it was the key. It gave these companies massive market access, which they obviously want. But it came with strings attached, really strict contract conditions. We call them golden handcuffs. Essentially turns the AI vendors into political contractors. And those conditions, they come straight from this key executive order, EO 14319, about preventing woke AI in the federal government.
Right. And the core requirement there is that these AI models, when used by the government, must prioritize truthfulness, accuracy, transparency, and freedom from ideological bias. And that order gets specific, defining ideological bias by mentioning concepts like DEI, CRT, systemic racism.
Which creates this incredibly tricky political balance beam for the vendors. On one hand, they absolutely have to comply with the government's definition of non-work. That's the contract. But at the same time, they're getting hammered by advocacy groups using the exact same words from the contract, objectivity, truthfulness, to challenge procurements over other alleged biases, things like hate speech or maybe political extremism,
So the poor AI model has to somehow be truthful, according to two completely opposing political viewpoints simultaneously.
Yes, the tightrope.
It sounds like truthfulness for AI is less about the tech itself now and more, a legal battleground defined in the contract.
Precisely. Its actual function is being dictated by the mandate, by the legal and political context.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening? AI isn't some clean theoretical thing anymore. It's landing hard. At UPS, its job is defined by pure operational need. The firefighter stopping the system drowning in customs forms, quick, dirty, reactive. At the GSA, its job is defined by a very specific political mandate, the contractor forced to walk this legal tightrope before it even generates a response.
Yeah, it's messy. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If AI's actual deployment, its function in the real world, is being shaped more and more by these external pressures, operational crises, political orders, rather than just its technical abilities, well, will AI's future evolution be driven more by policy documents and contact law than by the code itself?